Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Locally owned, family owned, in the business for 40 years. If you're like me, those are the types of qualities you look for before you trust your property to a business. And Southeast Termite and Pest Control checks every one of those boxes. I use them at my home. You should too. I've liked what they've done for me. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, back with Mark Pankratz, Josh Ward, Mike Griffith, Chuck Cavaleris. East Tennessee State lost in the first round to Florida this week in the NCAA tournament, but a lot of, if you follow the social media, a lot of people interested in Steve Forbes, the former Bruce Pearl assistant, your former comrade over there. Of course, he's been at, he went to JUCO ranks in Florida. Then he wound up with Greg Marshall at Wichita State. Now at East Tennessee State, a lot of folks would like to see him at Tennessee because it's the tie back to those glory years with Pearl. It's the up-tempo offense, and he does have a great personality. One, is that fair of me to even ask this question? And people are talking about it. Is it fair to even ask that when Rick Barnes has just finished his second year? Two, is there any way that ever works out time-wise? Because, as I just said, Rick Barnes just finished his second year, and Forbes is more likely going somewhere else before Barnes leaves here.
Yeah, I mean, we're comparing a Hall of Fame coach to a guy that's been a head coach at a Division I program for 2 years now. And I don't think
what's the problem?
Well, and I don't.
This is the media, man.
But you do look ahead, and I think Forbes' recruiting prowess, the fact that the Barnes may only be here for a handful of years, so it's. But I think to your point, timing. Does Greg Marshall take Indiana? The ego finally says, "Hey, Indiana's a big enough job for Greg Marshall." Because if that's the case, everything I've heard is he's the next guy in line at Wichita State if Greg ever leaves. Forbes has been in so many different places. He can get a job at a lot of different places, not just in the footprint of the SEC.
Guys, I don't think it ever works out in terms of the timeline with Tennessee because you would expect Barnes to take a step forward next year and finish. I don't expect him leaving before he wants to leave. I don't think there's going to be a need to fire the guy. Could be wrong, but I don't see that happening, and I just don't think it's going to work out, at least not in the next foreseeable future, that Forbes would be at Tennessee. Not to make a lot of people upset, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Am I wrong?
Well, not to upset people even more, but who says he would even want the job at Tennessee after how poorly that whole Bruce Pearl fallout was handled, the way the university administration bungled that was awful. And look at all the former Tennessee coaches that are scattered around. This is a tough job at Tennessee, I believe. I mean, there's a big arena to fill, and there's now expectations that, hey, if Bruce Pearl can go to 6 straight NCAA tournaments, why can't the next guy? So I think Tennessee's a tough job.
Yeah, the timing just doesn't seem like it's right. But, I mean, everybody that has dealt with Coach Forbes, I mean, he's got that infectious type personality. I think he would do a great job here, but he'll probably have another place open up, and that's where he'll go. Or he may stay at East Tennessee State.
Josh?
Yeah, Tennessee basketball just really needs stability. So the idea of even thinking about, hey, what about now or next year or whatever kind of change, I know that word can sometimes be frustrating to fans, but I really think Tennessee basketball needs it and to grow what they have right now.
Just because every other coach in the SEC is a former Tennessee guy, you think Tennessee isn't stable? Come on. No, I agree. All right. Mark, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. When we come back, we got 4 more spring practice questions to ask. And if we have time, I'll throw in a bonus. We got a lot more to come. We got a little Lady Vols. We got some baseball. Lots more. Come on back.